This is the book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the few Akwaf that subscribe as well. It's the brother Dama Agabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify and give you warning from Yahweh Yahweh Shai. And as you can see, hey, this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath, because he's running out of time. His agenda is being exposed. The prophets are on the highways and the byways. This glorious gospel is being spread throughout the four corners of the earth. The elect are being sealed. And at the same time, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of is being, he's being exposed on every level. And, a lot of his agendas, a lot of his plans, a lot of his deceit, his subtlety is all being undermined, ultimately through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, which the spirit of truth is out here. All of the things that are in the darkness are all coming to the light. Universal deceit is being blotted out by the light of truth. And this glorious gospel, even to the point to where the Lord is causing even the own tongue of Edomites and those who are privy to the inner workings and the schemes and the plots of these devils. A lot of them, the Lord is putting the spirit on them to come out and to be whistleblowers or to drop, bombs and drop truths, so that this wickedness can be ultimately exposed. And this devil is at the point now to where he's just going to have to come down with great wrath. And he's going to do a lot of that coming down with great wrath through unrighteous decrees, through false flags, through, creating narratives that don't really exist. He's going to blow up, not literally, but he's going to blow up particular diseases and sicknesses. He's going to use the mainstream media to, use propaganda to exaggerate particular events so that, he can put the people in fear, and he could somehow justify himself in allowing particular entities to have total sovereignty over your First Amendment rights, over your constitutional rights, and over your God-given rights to be able to, put things in place to where you're rendered helpless, or you can be deemed an enemy or a terrorist or a dissident and can be locked up and framed and, detained for you having an opinion outside of what the powers that be are saying are true. And, hey, we're in the times where this universal deceit is being aired out, and this devil is losing the information war. So now he's going to take it to extreme measures to try to, control the narrative and try to keep control over, particular information, particular talking points, podcast, people with, TikTok, people with, critical thinking skills, and people who are exposing the bullshit to be silenced, to be detained, to be, be able to be brought down and come down upon with great wrath. And I was reading this article here. It says biologist warns WHO, stands for the World Health Organization, which is one of those entities that I was just speaking about, that the powers that be through unrighteous decrees is trying to put in a position of complete and total control over, every citizen on this planet Earth, to dog walk you into this new world order, planning to take control over nations for the next pandemic. You see, I'm not going to read the other part, but you see it, but they're trying to give them power over the nations for the next P, so that, your First Amendment rights, the rights of your different countries and states, they're trying to give WHO the power to be sovereign over that, to where if they tell the whole planet Earth that this new sickness is out here and is harming people, that everybody needs to lock down, and WHO will have the final say so, and they'll be in a position to run, to be over the whole world when it comes to pandemics, and they can lock you down. They can force you to take this, they could deem anybody who speaks out against the so-called the professionals or the scientists that the WHO will put in place to say what is what. They'll have the power to, if you speak out against them, or if you do a tweet, or if you do a podcast, or you create a video, or you speak anything outside of that narrative, they'll have laws in place to where you can be detained indefinitely. You can be locked away. You can be deemed insane and have to be committed and, go see a psychiatrist until you can further see the light, if you know what I mean. So this devil is, he's getting ready to come down. That's why, he's going to use everything at his disposal in order to achieve this goal. And as you can see in this, and I'm going to read some of this information in here, they're trying to put plays in position to where they can come up against anybody that has a narrative outside of what they're trying to tell you, man. A total takeover a whole takeover over this country. All right. And this is the guy here who was saying it. I'm going to read a little bit of this. It says, biologist Brett Weinstein, who it sounds like a small hat, warned that the World Health Organization is preparing troubling new health emergency measures that could eviscerate national sovereignty and free speech as we know it, you see. And that's him coming down with that great wrath. Now we know it's going to eventually get physical, but it's going to be more legislative. He's going to come down with that great wrath. He's going to, put the WHO and these different other organizations in position of complete and total power. You see, regardless if it violates your constitutional rights, which they know is going to cause a civil war. It's going to cause people to to take it to the streets, people to be angry, people to fight back, people to do particular things. You see, and that's all part of their agenda, too, to bring the order out of the chaos. But ultimately, they wanted to run smoothly to where they can just give WHO power and they expect everybody to blindly follow it and not, question it by putting these different restrictions in place to where if anybody speaks out against it, to make it to where people who would speak out against it wouldn't even be able to have a voice because you'll be canceled. You won't have these platforms to run to and outlets to go and voice your opinion. It will fall on deaf ears, and the only information you'll get is what the WHO and what the powers that be tell you it is. You see? It says emergency measures that would eviscerate national sovereignty and free speech as we know it. And this applies to the men of the Lord, too, because the message that we're out there speaking, it violates and it comes up against all of this wickedness, you see. And let me get this real fast. All right. And this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And the mystery of iniquity, this is speaking about the ancient Roman Empire. But you fast forward it until today, this is the Roman Empire all over again. And the same power is at play and the same wickedness is working right now, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. You see, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is the prophets, the men of the Lord, and also a lot of these other whistleblowers that come out and drop information against the W.H.O that speak out against Esau, Edom, and exposing the wickedness of the powers that be. It's just the vibration of the Most High of exposing wickedness and, this truth and, of all these things being exposed. It's all part of the spirit of the Most High's mouth, but mainly through the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But the Lord also puts the spirit on, these devils that have their own tongue fall upon them as well. You see, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So, we're at that stage to where, this wicked is being consumed through the spirit of the Most High, through the spirit of truth, all throughout the earth. And now these devils are getting so frustrated and they're losing the information war. Now they're going to take it to the next extreme and to come down with these unrighteous decrees and come down with great wrath in order to silence the opposition. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Yeah, all the WHO, all of their, the UN, Klaus Schwab, the WEF, all of their climate agendas, all of their Build Back Better BS. That's all part of the, the coming after the working of Satan, with all powers and lying wonders and signs. They can go on TV and make this shit seem like it's real. They come on TV and feed you propaganda. They're telling you that, climate change is destroying the earth, that there's too many people. You have to eat the bugs. The natural way of farming is destroying the earth. And, anybody, that says anything against the agenda, they're lying, they're conspiracy theorists, all this shit, man. It's all part of the working of Satan, man. You see? And now that power is being exposed, and now it's trying to do all that it can to survive. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie. And that's the majority of our people. The majority of people are going to believe this shit. But you have those who know better and that are speaking out against it are becoming the enemies of it. And now these devils are trying to do things to where they can silence their opposition and even detain them, or even worse, execute them. It says, in an appearance on the Tucker Carlson encounter Friday, Weinstein explained how the WHO was taken by surprise by a small group of dissidents who were able to bend the narrative surrounding the 19 P&V and is drafting pandemic preparedness plan modifications in response to prevent similar pushback when another pandemic arises. You see, the fact that a small number of dissidents was able to bend the narrative was able to bring people's awareness to the massive levels of harmful and effectiveness of the jump shot. In some ways, the most surprising element of the story, you see, and this is what they're trying to, do away with. And this is what they're ultimately going to do. They're going to get rid of the people that were able to, basically anybody telling the truth, the Joe Rogans, the podcast, the men of the Lord, the prophets, ultimately the real prophets of the men of the Lord. But these other podcasts and these other people who speak truth, they're all, they're all going to play a huge part of it too. But it's ultimately to shut down any narrative against their agenda, which we know this gospel and the men of the Lord, we are a huge factor in that. You see, this is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. You see, they're going to eventually do away with all forms of, podcast or narratives or voices that tell the truth or that speak against the New World Order, that expose Esau, Edom, that expose the WHO, the UN, the Klaus Schwab, and these elites and their agenda. You see, and that's why we know that internet kill switch is coming. This is how we know they want to bring in that cyber attack. They want to turn off the lights. They want to eventually, come after those that are on the red list that they know will not be compromised, and those that they know will not bend to the will of their agenda. But it's going to start first with them, passing these different laws and trying to get control over the next P. And that's how they're going to silence a lot of the dissidents and silence a lot of the people that are speaking the truth. Whether you are telling the truth or not. It says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, and shall not find it. You see, and then we know Esau is trying to play a heavy role in doing this. And this is why, they need to have this internet kill switch and this digital ID and verification for anybody to get online so that they can monitor and track and trace anybody who is putting a tweet or on the internet, on TikTok, on social media, saying anything that goes against the mainstream narrative, so that you can be shut out and locked out and punished in real time. And your access to the internet can be banned via this beast system that they're trying to implement. See, let me jump down to the point. It says, and I think it truly surprised Pharma and his partners on social media and government run organizations. I think they thought they owned enough of the media that they could sell us any narrative they wish. And that's what they thought. Just put it on CNN. It don't matter. And that's why during the whole pandemic, when everybody was cussing out this whole agenda, that's why a lot of people's videos got flagged. A lot of people's content got taken down. And a lot of the men of the Lord, our pages got taken down because they were being exposed, And even though they did all this taking down of the videos, they was canceling people, they was labeling people seed theorists and doing all these things, they still lost the information war because there was more videos exposing it than they could make trying to counter what people were saying that they were doing. See, so now the only thing they're going to have left is just to come down with that great wrath and just pass unrighteous decrees and do things to where they can just shut out anybody that they want to who has a narrative exposing them. You see? It says, and I think surprising as it is, they didn't really understand that podcast could possibly be a countervailing force of significance. Right. Ultimately, the spirit of truth, the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see, they didn't, they thought that, they had everything under control. But now they're realizing that you don't have everything under control, and that the powers that be, them having control over all of these media is still not enough. The internet is still, a tool that is kicking them in the ass. You see, it says, podcast could possibly be a countervailing force of significance, he said, adding the WHO is looking for a rematch with humanity, right? Because they're gonna try it again. They're gonna try to lock everything down again. They're gonna bring in new variants and new sicknesses and new medical tyranny. They want to bring back the masking and social distancing, And this is how, like Bill Gates of Hell said, we believe the next pandemic is gonna get everybody's attention. See, because this time they might drop something even more worse than the one-niner, and this time is gonna cause people to. They're going to really make a shakeup and really try to get control like they attempted to do with the first P. It says, what I believe is going on is the World Health Organization is now revising the structures that allow the dissidents to upend the narrative, and they are looking for a rematch, I think. What they want are the measures that would have allowed them to silence the podcasters, to mandate various things internationally in a way that would prevent the emergence of a control group that would allow us to see harms clearly, he added, noting their ability to completely end the First Amendment in the U.S. is currently under discussion at the international level. You see, that's part of them coming down with that great wrath. This is part of them, bringing in this famine of the word to silencing anybody with an agenda outside of what they're talking about. They're going to pass laws. They're going to do unrighteous decrees. Hold up. I'm not done. Don't let her out. No, come back. No. Salakia, man. It says, let me get this precept, man. So this is why we got to be prepared. These devils are about to implement all of this shit. It says, I'll start here. It says Isaiah 29 and 18. It says, and in that day shall the deaf hear the word of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. And that's what's happening with the elect through the prophesying and the preaching of this gospel. Us out there on the highways and the byways doing these videos each and every day has opened the ears of the deaf. And now the elect are seeing things clearly that, our people are waking up to the fact that we're the Israelites. They know about Esau, Edom. They know why we came into captivity. They know the fate of Babylon, the great America, and they know the plans of the elites and ultimately what they're trying to accomplish in these last days through the spirit of prophecy and this truth. See, and this devil is going to try to put an end to all of it, but it's ultimately too late because the word has already gone out, and the only thing that's left is for the end to come. But in the meantime, he's going to come down with that great wrath as prophesied so that the Lord can lift up that standard for the elect and, send back our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai and ultimately deliver the elect of the 12 tribes of Israel. It says, the meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel, which is happening, with the elect and this truth. It says, for the terrible one is brought to naught. And who's the terrible one? Esau, Edom. And the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word. And that's what these devils are trying to do. That's what this revision of the WHO's mandate is all about. Trying to make anybody with a narrative that speaks out against the wickedness of these elites to be an offender, to be a terrorist, to be a dissident, to be a enemy of the state, to be a enemy of humanity, And they're going to have all type of slick titles and all type of creative ways to label anybody that speaks the truth to be attacked. It says, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, right? And they do that. People, these celebrities, certain of them was getting canceled. All our videos are getting taken down. They'll put the labels on you. They're going to be doing all these things, and they're going to be laying more snares in the near future with a lot of these, revision of this WHO mandate. And if they can get the WHO that, as the brother called him, in control over everything, shit, to the point to where if you don't want to take, let's say who gets in control and they tell you that, this is a mandatory jump shot. If you speak out against that and say it ain't what they're telling you, hey, you can be, that can be a snare for you to speak out against it, to be arrested, to be silenced, or even worse, It says, "A lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught." You see? And this is where this is all headed. And look, and what is your First Amendment right? Let's look this up. And this is what they're trying to do away with. It says, First Amendment, it says, an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that prohibits any law limiting freedom with respect to religion, expression, peaceful assembly, or the right of citizens to petition the government. Thus, the artist argued that his prints are, but anyway, that's the point. It's your constitutional right to where the government can't come against that. But hey, they can get these laws that pass, or they can make these new measures that can supersede the Constitution, and they can violate you, and take away the right from the poor of my people so that they can bring in this NWO. These things are all in conversations, and this is part of the agenda that they're trying to accomplish to stop anybody from stopping their progress. And they're going to do it with great wrath. It says Weinstein also explained how governments see public health emergency measures were the only way for Big Pharma to push its unsafe Mr. NA tech injection bill sold as V's to the public. Because they called it a V, people were much more willing to accept it, he said. And what I've come to understand is something I call the game of pharma. If you think about what pharma is, we tend to imagine that it is an industry that is hell-bent on finding drugs that will make us healthier. That's not what it is. In fact, pharma is healthy when people are sick, you see? And the word pharmakia means witchcraft, sorcery. You see? And this is part of their deception, is that they're using pharma, and the big pharma, they're presented as to help you and to save you and to have cure, but really is being used to destroy and to kill and to depopulate the majority of the people, man. You see? Let me see. Right. It says, basically every day of the year, pharma is engaged in portraying the properties that it owns as a more useful than they are, safer than they are, and persuading the medical establishment, the journals, the societies, the hospitals, the governments to direct people towards drugs they wouldn't otherwise be taking. So he continued. So what's that? That's what a racket, you see? And it is a racket. And that's all part of his deception. That's all part of his wickedness. And these are all the things that are being exposed, and that he's trying to silence anybody who's telling people the truth, that these different medical companies, the hospitals, the medical industry is all fake and phony, and it's not really there to cure or to help, but to keep you sick so that they can maximize their profits, man. And they're using that. They're going to use the medical as a way to gain total control over everybody's life in the near future. You see? It's pretty much it on that. I don't want to read too much more of this. Is there anything else here? Nah, that was pretty much it. But that was pretty much the point. Now they're about to come down with that great wrath, and they're going to use who to, unrighteously take control over everything and shut everything down and bring everybody into this NWO, man. Hey, so this devil is, he's losing the information war. He's being exposed, and we know he's about to, take it to some serious draconian measures, and he is going to come down with that great wrath, man. And this is part of the way we see that he's going to do it. So you can't be deceived. You can't be out here in the dark and sleep, man. You got to understand the plans and the agenda of these elites, man. And they're willing to do anything that they have to do in order to come up against the gospel, to come up against the men of the Lord, anybody speaking the truth. They're now putting things in place to where, hey, they can come against any of us that's saying anything, or that's, posting anything or doing videos on anything that's exposing the truth. These devils are going to look to come down upon us with great wrath and silence us and take us out of the way. But at the end of the day, hey, this gospel has already gone out. This devil has already lost. So they just stay diligent, stay focused, and just know that, hey, this devil's about to, like we've been saying, he's going to come down with another pandemic all over again. He's going to come this time more prepared, more draconian, and more sophisticated with his attempt to try to, do what he has to do. So just stay in the spirit, stay prayed up, and may Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai be with each and every one of us. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. To the next one, Shalom.